In this problem, we're dealing with similar polygons. Right now, we're dealing with two similar triangles. And we have 4 things that we need to do. So I'm going to write down the 4 things that we are asked to do in this problem. Number 1, you were asked to write a similarity statement. So a similarity statement between the two triangles. Now, these are 2 scaling triangles. What I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight in 3 different colors. I'm going to highlight in blue, red, and green. Now, obviously the shortest side here is what? From L to M. That's the shortest side. Okay? This side here is the hypotenuse. Obviously that's the longest. Over in this triangle, which one do you feel like would have to be the shortest side, even though you can't necessarily see it by the numbers? Which one do you think would have to be the shortest side? T to S. Why? That's true. Why would you say that?
Because it's similar to the other triangle.
It is similar to the other triangle. But Leslie, you were saying something that's important. This is subtracting a 1. This one is adding a 2. So no matter what number you plug in there, this side will always be 1 less than x. This will always be 2 more than x. So this side would have to be the blue side because it's the shortest, okay? This side would have to be the red. And then, of course, this is your hypotenuse. So we're going to write a similarity statement. I'll erase these. Based on these 2 triangles. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say triangle L. All right. So right now, L to M to N. M is my right angle. So if I'm going from L to M, what am I going to be going to in my other triangle? Where am I going to start? T. Very good. So we'll say triangle T. S to P. Very good. So this is our similarity statement. That's the first thing I need to set up. Step number 2, you were asked to solve for x. You're asked to solve for x. We're going to figure out what x is. Now, we're going to write a proportion. All right, so I want you guys to write the distance from T to S over the distance from S to P is going to be similar or proportional to, what is T and S similar to? What size? T and S. If you look over here, LM. Good, but LM. All right, SP right here, S and P, what are they similar to? M and N. Very good. So hey, now that we have this, you guys tell me the distance from T to S. From T to S is x minus 1. S to P is x plus 2. Now, I'm going to scroll over here. We're going to look at the distance from L to M. L to M is 8. M to N is 10. So you're going to put up here 8 to 10. It's very important that you set up the correct proportion. If you mess this up, then everything else is messed up throughout the whole problem. All right? So set that up. Now, my suggestion, when you're setting things up with binomials, like these are binomials right here, I put parentheses around them so that when you cross multiply, find their cross products, you remember to multiply the 8 to both of these numbers and the 10 to both of these numbers. So one of my cross products is 8 times the sum of x and 2. And this is going to be 10 times the difference of x and 1. So make sure you put those parentheses so that when you distribute, you multiply to both numbers. So we have 8 times x, we have 8 times 2, we have 10 times x, and 10 times a negative 1. So there's everything worked out as far as the cross products. Now at this point we need to solve for x. Alright, so where do you think I'm going to move all of my x's? To the left side or to the right side? Where do you think I'm going to do it?
The right side.
I'm going to move to the the right side. Because I have more of them over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away an 8x from this side. And I'm going to take away an 8x from this side. So that leaves me with 2 x's left. Which means if I move all of my x's to the right side, I have to move all my numbers over to the left side. So I'm going to add a 10. And I'm going to add another 10. Now these zero out. Then I have 16 and 10, which gets me a 26. So all I have left is a 26 equals 2 times x. That's right. So if we divide both sides by 2, x is equal to 13. You could say x equals 13. So what I'm going to do now, since I solve for x, I'm going to say x is equal to a 13. That's one of my answers. Just like this similarity statement was one of my answers. The similarity statement helped me solve for x. It helped me set up my proportion. So what am I going to do with this 13 now? I'm going to take it and I'm going to plug it in right here. And I'm going to plug it in right here. So this side actually becomes a 12, and this side actually becomes a 15. So the third thing, what did I ask you to find for the third thing? What did I,
Scale factor.
Scale factors. So let's think about our scale factors. Okay? Now, every single one of these problems could have a scale factor that could be considered an enlargement or considered to be a reduction. All right? So right now we're going to look at how do we set up our scale factors. Obviously this is the small triangle, this is the big triangle. So if we're going to do a reduction, we can compare the 8 to the 12, or we can compare the 10 to the 15. So I'm just going to use the 8 and the 12. They both will reduce the same way. So if I put 8 over 12, then this one's going to be 12 over 8. So I'm comparing the blue to the blue. You could have compared the what? Red to the red. So you could have done what? 10 over 15 or done 15 over 10. But what does everything reduce to? This one reduces to what? 2 over 3, and this one reduces to 3 over 2. So your enlargement, everything is multiplied by 3 over 2, or also 1.5. Your reduction, everything is multiplied by 2/3. So this triangle is 2/3 the dimensions of this triangle. Or this triangle is 3 over 2 times the dimensions of this triangle, depending on how you make the statement. Okay? So those are your scale factors. And last but not least, what was the final thing you were asked to solve for? The distance from what? T to S and from S to P. So number 4, I'm going to label T, S, and S, P. From T to S was 12. From S to P was a total of 15. And those are your 4 answers that I was expecting you to be able to find. All right? So every single one of those problems, you have 4 answers.
I actually got all of that.
Good job.